Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are reviewing a high plat, about 2900 Genji. My understanding is that this is a player who has peaked over 4K before, so they've spent some time in GM, but they say they did it all with mechanics, and now the game doesn't allow for that. Let's see what we've actually got here. But if you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe. Okay, so I don't mind opening shurikens against them at all. Like, opening shurikens against them is totally fine, but you are a projectile hero. You can do this from further away for the exact same value. You can also do this from a higher angle for the exact same value. Like, there's really not a great reason to be doing this from here, as opposed to really from right up here. Or even, thinking about kind of what the Sigma did and going, hey, let me hit them from over here type thing. Like, this is just sort of foolishly sort of challenging it. And you're thinking, oh no, but I want them to shoot at me because I want to deflect. But like, really? Do you really want to deflect here? I'd prefer to get stuff over and around their shield rather than wear down their shield a little here. But that's okay. You do want to fight the hog in there. Fine. Yeah, we want to beat this while we can overwhelm him. Too late. Deflect. Can't do this. What? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay. Set this up properly. Here we are. You're doing this. Team is getting their multi-angle push on you. Hog hasn't been solved quickly enough, so now you've got this. This is reasonable. But now without deflect, you're pushing it. There's no finish here. There was never a finish here. This was never going to be a finishing blow, and their Mercy, their Ana are effectively right on top of them to heal back up these hit scan that you're trying to dash through and finish off. So you do not have an elimination coming through within half a second here. You do not have your deflect to help you get out. Your best out is probably up here at this point, and while this would be an okay place for you to play from, it's not what you did. Like, if you'd been like, oh no, I'm going to hit a diagonal up dash and gun yourself here, I probably wouldn't be complaining. But that's not what you did. You full-on dashed into this without your deflect in a way that wasn't likely to immediately get a finish, and Mercy is right here. You're not going to be able to finish Kree off. If she's even half awake, she's going to put beam on McCree. You're not going to be able to finish him, and you're just going to get crushed in here. Like, this was not okay. She's half awake. And your damage is better now. The Shuriken up really did help, and I've gotten those reports from Genji players. Like, that Shuriken up really, really did help, but, like, this is their entire team that you jumped into the middle of that was, of course, paying attention. You just can't expect to out-brute force these guys, even with the buff that he just got. Hey, Semitic. They lived a long time with 6 people looking at them. They meaning the Genji, or they meaning the Roadhog? I don't think we ever really had 6 people looking at the Roadhog. So maybe you mean the Genji. Okay. Yeah, this is what's going to happen. Like, look at this. The Semitic may be referring to this. Maybe he'd seen a couple seconds ahead on the VOD. Their whole team is going to pay attention to you because your team isn't really relevant to most of them. Only really relevant to the Hog. So, yeah, you can't end up in these situations where you went in, you used your dash, you didn't get a finish, and you also don't really want to be hard engaging the opponents when your team isn't like a serious, credible threat to most of the team there. This was more of a first issue than a second issue there, but let's continue. Sure. Sure. Yeah. So here we are. You're doing this. Plan from an angle. Fine. You're going to shoot him in the back. Works. Would probably swap to McCree immediately here, but I can live with it. perfectly reasonable. You can immediately take this fight because it's effectively an isolated 1v1. So if you want to dash into this McCree, that's not going to bother me. It's not even a 1v1, it's a 2v1 in your favor. You might immediately lose the Sigma, but it's not going to bother me if you had dashed into this and then popped deflect because you didn't know this was coming up, or if you dashed into him to get behind him and been like, hey, I don't care if you go for the flash, Sigma's going to crush you type thing. Like, you had potential here. Fine. This doesn't bother me. Now, okay. Good. Again, the difference there with your dash earlier is the situation of the fight. This time, you dashed at him when either it was an isolated 1v1 or better, and it was better. Last time, you dashed into 4 people, and you didn't get the finish to get your dash reset. Cool. Work your way right back up to that gun. Right back up to that gun. Fine, you can play right instead. Yep. You ready to see a big blade? Me too. Me too. It's okay. So you decide that they're in rotation and this is when you want your blade. And I can live with this. It's not amazing. We haven't gotten out some of the things we might like to see. Some of the, like, you have to deal with, hey, there's a flash, there's a sleep, there's a hook on the other team. I'm not saying you need to get all of those out, and I do like that you're hitting them in rotation. I'm not sure I'd have dashed into them like this, though, to pull out your blade, because you've got very little protection. Like, just your double jump is protection. That's not amazing amounts of height, but that's okay. And now we see this comes out. So we need to now make sure, and I'm going to slow this down, that we stay on the squishies as best we can. Okay, are we going to get the Kree? Is that the plan? And then Kree gets lifted, and that's a little awkward for you. Soldier's probably not your target. Probably would have been Anna, but okay, you're going to go for Soldier. So be it. Wait, did you use your dash there? Is that what happened? So that's fine. Fine. Oh, you'd used your dash there, just hadn't come off earlier when we paused. Okay, you're kind of stuck there then. Yeah, and you just have to swing at that. That's just how the flux of the blade worked out. Ah, yes, the only character that can flash McCree. I mean, McCree can flash McCree. Some McCree wars. Deal with the hog. Sure. Go take your high ground angle. Go take your high ground angle. You didn't want to go here. This happened. They're already retreating. You want to be going, hey, I'm going to get around here. And then you can pepper them from the back. You can pepper their backline to keep them out so that they can't help them get out. You got better options for setting up for your stagger and setting up for their next push to your left. Yeah, you're too stacked with your team here. Don't have deflect. Dash out, dash out. Too late. Do you think two of the same characters on different teams are confused when they see each other? Cloning technology? Cloning technology? I mean, didn't used to have one hero limit, so maybe were they more or less confused than when there were two of the same hero on the same team? Besides Bastion, maybe. I mean, Bastion is supposed to be like a special Bastion unit.
No one can hide from my sight.
Okay. I'd prefer you do this from high ground. Like, I don't mind that you left, but I'd have actually preferred you came back this way and did your work from up here as opposed to down here. Down here was okay. Down here's okay. Up here was better. Are you aware of anything else, or are you full Pharaoh? Okay. What's to your right? What's to your right? What's to your right? fight him. You can fight him here. Reasonable. Go right. Go right. Good. You're gonna have to back off. What? The soldier is the next most likely person to see you. The soldier is clearly going through. No, epic pen, my bad. The soldier is clearly going through to pick up Minnie, and then he's going to come out the doorway. So if you see how this works, he's doing that. Like, that was almost a metaphysical certainty that that is what he was doing. So that you're continuing to stare in this direction. I don't mind if you go this way. I don't mind if you want to get on top of this and play from up here, but that you don't turn your camera to look this way, to be ready to spam shurikens at him, to be ready to pop your deflect against him. Like, this is wild. It was incredibly obvious that he was going to go do this. You just, like, forgot about him. This might be a reoccurring problem for you. I don't think you're enough aware. You're choosing to ignore him to go do this. Okay, so here we are. Anna's over here. Mercy's over here. Widow's in spawn. Reinhardt's here. Sigma's here. Like, this is sort of, the fight is sort of happening here. Probably shouldn't be. I probably wouldn't have said, hey, let's go take this fight where we're down a bunch of people. This is where the fight is happening, but this fight is kind of already over. Okay. And you hitting people with blades is not a mechanical skill test. Like, yes, it's a mechanical skill test, but your blades being successful have a lot to do with, can your opponents afford to dedicate resources to you? If you go to Blade in a 3v6 scenario, the opponents can afford to spend basically all of their resources on dealing with you. Their sleep darts, their hooks, their flashbangs, their Rhine swings, their healing stations, their mercy peel. They can spend all of their resources on not letting you get value, and it'll kind of work. You probably won't get value because Blade, while it's good, it's not like, oh my god, strongest thing ever. Plus, it's a little weaker now. So that'll work. But if they spend all of that attention, all of those resources on dealing with you, your 5 remaining teammates should be able to just bowl them over as long as they don't get a chance to sort of reset, a chance to sort of stabilize and get their cooldowns, their health back, all that sort of stuff. So if you use blades with good timing when your team is threatening them, even if they deal with your blade, your team will deal with them. And what will more often happen is part of their resources will be left to deal with your team, and therefore your blade will get good value. But I don't care even if your blade doesn't get eliminations if your team then wipes them out because they were trying to spend resources on you. Here, though, this is pretty predictable. You just got slept. Yes, you got the Enna. That's cool. But now they're just going to deal with you. When you got the Enna, you got slept. You're going to get eliminated. And, okay, you used an ult to get an elimination in a 3v6 type scenario, 3v5 type scenario. So be it. Now what? Like, they're going to get one right back without having used ults. Clearly, they come out ahead. Pro Anna tip, tactical crouch blade sleeps when possible. Okay, okay. Do I know how long of a break this player took? I do not, Semitic.
Like water.
Please stop. No! Your Reinhardt is here. Your Mercy is here. There's a threat coming from another direction. You actually want to go deal with this. Like, you're not Diva, but you're kind of budget Diva. The way that Genji thinks about the game is, hey, my team is fighting through this way. I probably want to fight through this way. I probably want to fight through this way. He wants to fight from a different angle if that's a real option. He wants to use his kit to solve that problem. And if someone else is fighting from a different angle, their team is doing the same thing, they're pushing one angle and someone from their team is pushing the other angle, well, Genji is sort of built to actually be good at fighting other damage dealers. He's got deflect, he's got dash, he's actually a pretty darn good duelist in a lot of those ways. So like, he likes those things, not better than Tracer, but he likes those things. This is the sort of thing where he's not necessarily gonna be like, ah, yes, I beat a pocketed Pharah, but this Pharah isn't pocketed. What he would generally do is he'd like to take his angle to fight here. He'd like to take his angle to fight here. If someone else has taken an angle to fight in on his team, he wants to fight them back first, win their angle, and then use or deepen their angle against the enemy team. So like, you're fighting for this. You can think of this as fighting for flank control. And it might seem weird, like, but Pharah's not controlling a flank route. Yes, she is. This is a flank route that's accessible to her and accessible to you. So fight her for this flank route, beat her, drive her back, or eliminate her, and then fight in from here. That's how you do this. If you don't, if you go, no, I don't want to go this way, I don't want to fight her because she's already taken this space, well, you're just going to get pummeled from both sides and your team is going to lose. Whereas if you take control of her flank route, you'll force her into her team or eliminate her, and then you'll get to pummel their team from two different directions, and you'll win. No, this was not the play. I'm glad you got it. But it was not the play. Why do you think you can finish her there? Okay. You reacting to the sleep dart. It's not amazing. I'd have really preferred you react with your deflect rather than your dash. Now you're in here. I don't think you're about to eliminate her. She's got more than 50 health left. Yeah, you're not about to eliminate her. She's got a mercy beam on her. Now your dash is just on cooldown.
My servants never die.
Yeah, you can deflect Pharaoh. It's possible for some of the missiles to explode near you and hurt you, but as long as you can catch the actual missiles, you can deflect them. Good break. What? 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 Why are we dashing at a Roadhog that's not weak? That was weird. So many ults were just used in the lost fight there. But Riptire was not one. I know. You don't mean Riptire. His top 500 Genji can solo and no cooldown hog. Maybe. Why are you fighting from here? Like, congrats. You've driven them back far enough. It is past time to rotate out to here and shoot from over here. You don't have, like, your sniper occupying this spot anymore. Your team is clearly pushing from this direction, which means you're no longer interested in pushing in this direction. You're interested in using your kit to go, let me wall climb up over here and start angling shots in from here. Oh, that's going to be more powerful.
This is not the end.
It's fine. What? This is like the most calm. You can stand still and throw shurikens at her head while she can't move ever. Like, she's right here. You have line of sight on her. She's never going to threaten you with this barrage because she's so far away. You can just be... No one else on her team can see you. It's just like, oh, I guess I'm just going to stand here and headshot her. You know, go 1, 2, 3. Not the spread shot, but the 3 in a row shot at her head, and she's going to get eliminated. Like, this is easy. Easy. What are you doing? Why are you jumping? Who are you dodging? What are you doing? Go get your high ground, please. To the right. To the right. Stop playing in the middle. Stop playing in the middle. Stop playing in the middle. I don't know if you just don't know the value of angles or if you're overvaluing deflect. Like, it's possible that you're trying to play core because you're overvaluing deflect. Like, no, I need to be main where they'll be shooting at me so I can get deflect because deflect will do damage to them and get me ult charge and things like that. And deflect is really like, yes, that's a way to use deflect, and you'll sometimes use it like that. But deflect is really better as a when I have deflect, I can play more aggressive. So like you can go play on those angles that we're talking about, but you can stay on that angle longer after you've taken a little damage. You can occupy it longer because you have deflect available type thing. You can go in on the enemy team and have a way to get out when things don't go well because deflect is still there. I'm still not saying use dash to go on when you're not going to get a finish, but it lets you stay in longer. So like deflect's best use is not let me stand in front of my team and deflect for them, or let me be standing with the team so they'll pay attention to me so I can use deflect sooner. You don't really want to force your own deflect that often as Genji. You're more interested in like using deflect to solve problems or having it in your back pocket to allow you to play more aggressively. So instead of going here and going, I hope they'll shoot at me, you go over here and you do work here and you get better shots with them not paying attention to you, which means more headshots, means more damage on them before they turn to deal with you. If they do turn to deal with you, they're more vulnerable to your team because they're looking at you, not your team. Like cover that works against your team doesn't work against you. That's what we're looking to do basically all the time. Like, that's how we go about our ult farm. That's how we go about getting people potentially low enough that we then feel like jumping in with dash to finish them off. Like, that's what we're looking for, and that's better than, aha, let me play here to try to abuse deflect. Forget it. Hey, Danny.
No power down. Get in there.
Sure.
Get at me.
Behind you.
Good. Okay, start to adjust. Start to adjust to the outside. This is better. But don't play main here. Oh, there's Hog. Now go up. Up. Top right. Top right is better. Stop trying to send stuff down here and just be like, oh, let me pressure you from here. Let me pressure you guys from here. It's better. It's better than this.
Taking damage.
Are you going to heal with the Pharah? See, this is what I'm talking about. You battle for flank control, and after you force her back, you can take her angle. Would have been really hard to break through main for them if Pharah hadn't been able to do work from the side there, or if you'd been doing work into their side from that spot.
Ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
So many pushes on this map just in that choke. It is a strong choke. It's also hard to re-advance on. Like, once the attackers get wiped, it's hard to get back to the choke. But I prefer that, you know, third point has the harder choke as opposed to like first point. And this map has a couple rough spots to push through. This part of first can be hard. The pushing into the high ground at the beginning-ish of second can be hard. This is better. Why? Oh, you don't like it? Okay, cool. Stand here and let your team heal you. They just used their Helix rockets. They don't have another explosion to get you. You're fine. Stand here, get healed, and then when your team is, you know, maybe up here actually fighting these guys, you can peek here and threaten this. But you can't peek here and threaten this right now. Look at where your team is. Your team is all behind this line, which means this is unfortunately serving as cover for the other team against your team, which means you fighting their backline doesn't really work because their backline can spend all of their attention on you. Not going to work for you. Are you trying to reset? I don't know why you'd try to reset. Your positioning was good. Are you thinking you can finish off a half-health Reinhardt? Reinhardt is not a regular squishy. Like, no. If he was half health, maybe you'd dash in and, dash through him, turn around, triple headshot him. Maybe you'd do that. Maybe you'd feel comfortable with that against a squishy, but not Reinhardt. Reinhardt is for sure not going to get eliminated by that and is going to get heals before you can finish him off. You're not going to have him down to quickly get your dash back to get out or anything. This is a terrible idea.
Let us hope for a different outcome.
Join me.
Ryan doesn't have armor, so by Tempor's definition he's low health. Sure, from Reinhardt's perspective, not from a Genji's perspective.
The payload is home.
Work your way to the right. Work your way to the right before this deflect is over. Work your way to the left. Please poke through the left. What is this? Who do you think you have here? No one here is weak, and you're just like, let me dash in and hope that this is enough of a distraction. And even worse than usual, let me dash in with my deflect on cooldown. You're just like, hopefully you being an annoying fly in the middle of their team will cause their team to be distracted and they just won't have good enough aim to hit you when you double jump. We are well past that era of Overwatch. You're just going to get crushed in here. You just dashed into the middle of a full health enemy team that's standing on a soldier healing station. You're not going to be able to get any eliminations in here. You're not about to pull out your blade or anything like this. Your team is kind of ready to push, so that's at least a little bit in your favor, but this is a terrible engage from you. You needed to soften this team up more. You needed to think, hey, I'm going to poke through here. Hey, I'm going to rotate through here, and I'm going to poke through here type thing to soften these guys up while staging around the health pack. And then when you see an opening, then you could potentially go in. Or you could go, oh, I'm going to transition up to here and poke them from behind type thing. And again, you poke people until you see a big enough lead to go in to finish someone off. That's how the hero works. You can't just go in and be like, and I'll just survive in here. No, you will not. What's about how we expected? What was this forum post saying? Genji sucks after playing him this way? Good question. I've been hearing good things from the Genji players though. They like the damage buff. You didn't help break the turret? Okay.
Enemy turret eliminated.
Okay, you gonna go get the high ground? High ground? High ground? No. He's the first person coming back after you just wiped their team. By definition, there are going to be people right behind him. This is not weak enough. This is not weak enough, especially when he still has overload for you to dash into him. That dash did not finish him off, and your next shuriken volley, or even your next shuriken volley immediately filled with a melee afterwards, they're not going to be able to finish him, which means he is not close enough to be eliminated for you to dash in right now. You needed to poke him down more before committing. There's our shuriken damage. Still too high for a melee to finish him. Oh, there's the overload. There's the Mercy, and it didn't have to be Mercy behind him. It could have been Ana behind him. It could have been Soldier behind him. It was very predictable that people were going to be behind him based on how you had eliminated the enemies, and you eliminated the enemies with your blade in that last fight. You knew that if you saw him as the first person coming back, that other people were going to be right behind him. He's not the last person coming back, or someone coming back way staggered from the rest of his team. You literally just had to count on him to not hit shots there. Well Mercy boosted. Not our favorite. The Supercharger. The Supercharger. Okay. Okay, using the cart's line of sight, fine. Just had to hope he didn't have overload and just maybe eliminate him. He's just coming back from spawn. There's not a good enough reason for him to not have overload. I mean, he could have used overload to travel and probably did, but like. Kind of in the open. Dash out, dash out, dash out. Okay. You can fight him from behind. You have to flex. Okay. Not how I'd have recommended you do it, but sure. Left side. Left side. Climb yourself up here, do damage. Walk yourself over here, do damage. Solo versus Shatter. Daggers, fine. Who did you dash in for? I don't know who you think you can finish with this dash. I don't. And they're sort of retreating, yeah, but like your team is also sort of pushing card. You don't have full support. You went into the middle of this. Your out is actually to wall climb up to here. Like that is your out right now. But you're just trying to back up. You didn't deflect the nade. And yeah. I mean, the real solution is don't dash into that. There wasn't a finish that you saw, so don't do it. The second solution is take the better out path, but... Okay, submitting. We're just gonna play Sniper Genji? Okay. Sniper Genji is better played on angles. Angles? Angles? No. Okay. Are you gonna pressure the soldier? Like, it's not amazing. You're gonna pressure Hog for a blade farm when you have blade. Okay. Set up. Just set up. Let her get nano and try to win with that. You already have your ult, by the way, so we're not interested in max damage. We're interested in putting pressure on Echo and Soldier, because those are the ones with the angles that are gonna win it for their team. You're not going to beat them, but you're going to force them off their angles temporarily to give your team the ability to move in better. Now, good stuff. Good. Yeah. That's what I was talking about wanting to put pressure on the Echo and the Soldier to try to keep them a little more honest. You're not going to long-term beat them. One has a pocket, the other's really hard for you to hit. But, like, you needed to put pressure on them to sort of make them back off a little bit to give yourself room to blade effectively. To give your team room to rotate up more closely. Okay. So yeah, you were doing everything with mechanics. I mean, that's, your own take on your gameplay isn't necessarily wrong in that sense. What you really need to understand is going to be Genji is not just about standing with his team to deflect or doing super long range from the same angle as his team shurikens. He's about, my team is pushing like this. Maybe I'm pushing like this. Maybe I'm pushing like this. Maybe I'm pushing like this type thing. Like, you have to use his abilities as a flanker to apply pressure from different angles. You don't have to walk into the enemy team, though that's fine. You can do assassinations on him, but that's walking in, not dashing in. But you have to hit this stuff from angles. It's the angles that put way more pressure. They compromise cover. They make their movement patterns worse against one set, either you or your opponents. It makes them turn their screen so that they can only pay attention to one of you at a time. It makes the spam damage that is meant for your team not hit you and vice versa. Like, angles are really, really good, and they're ultimately what break chokes. They're fantastic. Like, the team with more and better angles, more and greater angles, tends to be the team that is winning. And you need to use your angles as Genji. You both need to take them for yourself and use them, because they will do a lot for you. They'll let you farm ult faster. They'll let your team have a lot more space, freedom, breathing room. And you want to take those angles away from opponents like Pharah and Soldier, who are occupying angles that you might kind of like, so you battle them for them. And you're pretty good at fighting soldiers. You're reasonably good at fighting Pharahs. It's not like, fighting Pharahs, yes, you're going to crush her every time. No, you don't have, like, the best tools for fighting her, but when she's in spots that you want and vice versa, like we saw in second, yeah, you've got plenty of stuff to fight her with. And it's not like, she's particularly good at hitting you either. So, like, we're good. We're good. Push her back. You don't need to eliminate her. You want to push her back. You don't need to eliminate Soldier. You want to push them back. If you can eliminate them while they're fighting for their flank, fantastic. Do that. But battle for the flanks and turn those flanks into angles that you can pressure the other team from. That is going to be the single most important thing for your Genji. Embrace angles. The second most important thing for your Genji is to stop just believing that you can just dash in and somehow survive, or dash in and get eliminations on someone when the team hasn't been adequately softened up. You don't just dash in on Genji. You dash in when you literally believe that you can eliminate someone within the next half second. And generally that's going to mean maybe they're missing most of their health, maybe they're isolated, maybe they're in a situation where a bunch of them are weak, so you think, I'll be able to turn this into chain dashes. Or maybe it's a coordinated dive where they're at full health, but your Winston and your Hammond are also both going in, and there's a Discord orb in play, and you think it's very likely you're going to get an elimination very, very quickly. Fine. But the vast majority of the time, your dashes into a group of enemies need to be because you actually see someone that is like, yep, that person is half health or less, I can dash into them and immediately turn it into a combo. Where they're low health and I have shurikens already in the way, and I follow my shurikens with a dash, and between my dash and my shurikens, they're going to get eliminated type thing. Like, that's what you're looking for. You are not looking to do these dash into the enemy teams when the enemy team is at 80%, 100%, whatever the case may be. When you hit one shuriken, like, you're not looking to do these dashes. Don't just believe that you can get out, and don't just believe that the enemy team isn't going to hit you. If you want the enemy team to not be able to hit you, you play angles so that they're distracted, they have to pick, etc. The middle of the enemy team is not a very good angle for your own survivability because you don't have the ability to close that angle unless you have dash to leave with, which gets us back to, oh, doesn't really work. Again, if you want to walk into an enemy team from behind and just put 3 shurikens into their back of their neck, that's fine. You can do what we call assassination plays like that. But you'll notice the reason that's fine is because you still have your dash to get out, to finish someone off and then combo it into getting out, or to dash through someone and get out with that dash through them. That's different than dashing into them when they still have enough health to survive. These really are the 2 most important things for you to get down on Genji. Start with the angles, but also the next thing after you've worked the angles in, and you should be using like 5 to 15% of your brain to specifically be thinking about, should I be playing from a different angle? Should I be fighting this soldier for control of that angle to then turn it into my angle against them? Should I be doing that? Like 5 to 15% of your brain power for like might be 5 games, might be 50 games, might be 20 games, however long it takes for you to really ingrain that into your gameplay, to make that part of your autopilot. So you don't even have to think about it. You just naturally go take some of these angles rather than standing with your team as often as you are for like, well, maybe I'll deflect some damage. No, forget that. And then the second thing that you work on ingraining is this concept of, okay, I only dash in after I've created an opening, after I see an opening. I don't dash in on full health people, on 70% health people, unless it's part of a coordinated, everyone is diving at once type thing, which you're not going to get very often on ladder, especially on ladder down in 2900 where you are right now. Those are the 2 most important things. So work them through one thing at a time. If you or anyone else has questions, they can throw them up in chat now. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate that. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, special events we have going on, all of that good stuff. Yeah, so let's catch up on chat here. In double shield, do you still angle or just stay behind shield? You can do. You're still usually going to angle. Do you mean playing into double shield or when your team has double shield? You're still generally going to end up angling, but what'll sometimes happen, it depends on what comp you're talking about. Like, you've seen double shield comps that use Orisa Doomfist, for example, and you can do it, you're still going to do, hey, Doomfist would swing in, etc. And you could use Genji potentially with or in place of that Doomfist and have him do dash shenanigans, where it's like, okay, he's going to dash in when we throw the Holt, we're going to coordinate around that. But again, that's really entering coordinated dive, where you're expecting the halt, the dash, something else to all go together to turn into an elimination so he can immediately get out. It's a little bit of a unique case though, but you'd think of it as very similar to your team's coordinated dive, where it's a combo play, it's a burst play, which is sort of what dive is about. A combo, a burst of enough to finish people off. The sum is enough to hit breakpoints. If you split them up, they don't and they get out healed. Team playing double shield as light Kree. In double shield, would you still angle or just stay? Oh, or Ash. So as Kree or Ash playing double shield, would you take angles or play behind shield? So you're going to, it depends what you're playing into. It's going to depend what you're playing into still, but you're pretty comfortable going, hey, I'm Kree, I'm taking an angle. Oh, Sigma took the same off angle as me? Sweet. Like, double shield isn't actually about all the time, oh, let's all stack together. There's certain comps where you're going to do that, but you can still, with an Orisa Sigma double shield comp, absolutely take angles, and what do you know, Sigma's going to take your angles pretty frequently. But even if he doesn't, no. There's lots of situations where you're going to go, let's say our Orisa is threatening down here, our Sigma is threatening from over here, and our Ash is threatening from here. And that's still perfectly appropriate into the Brawl team that wants to advance through here. That's perfectly appropriate. Orisa pull Doom slash Doom. Yeah, yes. On the other hand, your poke is pretty weak, even if you're using Orisa as a tank. If you're running Doomfist plus Genji. But yes, it's scary to go, okay, halt, dash, slam, etc. I think people sleep on Orisa, but not as bad as Sim. I think Sim is probably the most underrated character in the game. TP is still a nutty utility. Yeah, Sim was underrated for quite a while. I think people are getting more respect. It may still not be quite enough, but she's come out to play on more than just Lijiang Tower. She sort of took over Lijiang Tower, and people realized, oh, she's good on all the Lijiang Tower maps. And she's worked her way out from there as like, well, prove she's not good on maps, but she hasn't been fully embraced yet either. And yes, TP is pretty good. You think people still sleep in RGB headsets? Ah, okay, Adam. Adam, oh, and I missed you jumping in here. Hey, bro, get an RGB headset. Ha ha ha, nerd. Speeds off and convertible. There you go. There you go. There you go. Okay. If there's any final questions, go ahead and throw them up here. If you're enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe. If you'd like to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below. See what rates look like, see what sort of promos, special events we have going on, all that good stuff. And then give me just 1 second here. Let's go like this. Let's immediately go. Actually, let's just do it like this. So if we go like that, we can see that let's do a cross-platform host. Cross-platform hosts are fun, right? Those are a thing. Totally a thing. Yeah, let's do it. So it looks like Blue X is streaming right now. So what we're gonna do is, I believe he is streaming the new, not the new, he is streaming Diablo. Blux, I just linked in chat, is currently streaming Diablo 2, the remake that came out there. So if you guys want to take a look at that, see if it's interesting, see if it, lives up to your childhood memories or whatever, you can go check out him doing that for those of you that haven't pre-ordered yourself. And I can hear there is a leaf blower going. I hope you guys can't hear that as loudly as I can. But regardless, I'm going to sign off for now. I'll probably be back for another review in about half an hour. Diablo. Okay, okay. Fair, fair. Blah says, how many Patreon tiers and subs do you need to get a new headset and new graphics card? Who says I need a new headset, guys? Who says I need a new headset? Anyways, you guys should go check out BlueX if you are, at all interested in D2 there. He's obviously done some streaming. For those of you that don't know, he's a former Contenders player, high level flex support, all that good stuff. So you guys can stop by and say hi, or, I'll see you back here in half an hour if you would prefer to see more Overwatch review stuff, because we do that here too. Thanks, guys. Temporal out.